Hello and welcome to another educational video on languages. This time we will be talking about the best language in the world, Korean. Korea is a country in East Asia and used to be this small, but they have grown to this size now, and probably in 20 more years this will all be part of South Korea. Korea has its own alphabet that looks like this. And you are correct in thinking if it reminds you of something. It was featured on the popular game Tetris, and it's the reason Korean kids don't need to learn the alphabet song, but instead they just play the game. Probably both the Korean alphabet and Tetris were invented by Sejong because he was so great. The alphabet has a name and it is called Hangul, which means the easiest alphabet in the entire world, and can be learned in just 10 minutes because he made it self-explanatory, and by that I mean most of the letters look like how you would form them with your mouth. This is how you pronounce these consonants: K, N, T, and of course RL. And then we have the vowels. It's just lines, but they look like the shape your mouth would make when you say them. And then the dot will indicate how to tense your throat as seen from the side. A, O, U, U. And instead of having an extra character for the Y or J sound, we just add an extra dot on the vowels that can have it added, so they sound like ya, yo, you, yo. But Korean is not written like this, Hangul. Instead, it is written in block formation like this, Hangul, where each block has 2 or 3 letters because that's how we form the sounds, and the shape of the vowel dictates how the block will look, horizontal or vertical. It is time to learn our first word in Korean. The way you say hello in Korean is by asking them 안녕하세요. It is probably the longest hello in the world. It means, is peace with you? This is due to the fact that the war between North and South Korea never ended, so it can be used to ask, are we at peace? And if they are from North Korea, they will reply, no, we are at war. Korean does not have grammar. Instead, it is formed like stacking Lego bricks one by one with particles. Sejong made it like that so it will be easier for AI and machine learning to learn the language. But Sejong could not predict the invention of the transistor, so max length of 3 syllables for all names in the country was totally unnecessary. Just see this end credits list, the names are in the right column. The way you say dog in Korean is ke, and the way you say crab in Korean is ke, but with a different e, even though they sound the same. So if someone says they just ate a lot of ke, you should probably question them a bit more. Actually, as an expert on Korea, I often get asked if people eat dog in Korea, and the answer to that is no, or at least not anymore. During Corona, all of those dog places closed down because all the Chinese people went back home. To Western language speakers, the Korean language sounds very childish, not in the way of the voice, but in the structure. If you want to say the sentence, I want to go home, in Korean, then in order to sound fluent, you should say it like someone who is 4 years old would say it. Home go one. 집에 가고 싶다. This also makes Korean the most efficient language in the world and speeds up communication to an insane tempo, which is great for competitive esports, and I think explains part of the reason why Korea dominates popular video games such as League of Legends. But other factors include that they can play with 1 millisecond of latency and they play from young age right after Tetris. But everything has pros and cons, and this efficiency feature of Korean invites misunderstandings if you're not fully in on the context, because in the sentence home go want, you did not specify the actor, so it could be anyone who wants to go home. And this is the plot point of literally every Korean drama, where another character will walk into the scene mid-conversation and overhear them and go like, "어머, 누구나 집에 가고 싶냐?" Which means, I am going to do the most irrational thing I can think of right now without clearing up potential miscommunication. Korea is a country of traditions, and that shows in the language. In order to speak politely to someone you don't know, or if he is above you, like a boss or a teacher, you must add the honorific particle to the end of every sentence. And there are 7 levels to this honor system, but only 2 of them really matter in daily life if you just want to get by. You can use the non-honorific form of heche with your friends, and as well the non-honorific form of heyoche with anyone else. That means you only have to remember to add a yo after the end of every sentence when you're speaking with strangers. Yo. You wouldn't be able to pretend you are Korean by only using those 2, but you'll be able to converse with anyone without being impolite. But it doesn't end there, because there are also honor words for the people around you based on their age and gender or title. Since I am a man, I would refer to an older man as hyung and to an older woman as nuna, but for women it would be onni for older woman and oppa for older man. And you may remember that word from the popular song Oppa Gangnam Style. Gangnam is actually a rich neighborhood in Korea, and he's referring to an oppa that is rich town style. And knowing that Gangnam is a famous hotspot for plastic surgeries, I'll let you judge if Sai is referring to himself in the third person while talking to a younger girl, or if he defines himself as a woman and is talking to an older man. Just be extremely careful when you ask someone in Korea for their age, not because it could be rude, but because not only do they have 2 number systems, they also have their own age system. And the number systems are not interchangeable, and specific things must be counted in one system while other things are counted in the second one. For example, if you want to tell the time, you have to use the native Korean system for hours and the Sino-Korean system for minutes. So 3 minutes over 3 is 3시 3분, where se is 3 and sam is also 3, which is fucking crazy. And on top of that, when you were born in Korea, you were already the age of 1, and every new year, everyone in Korea gains 1 year to their age. So if a baby in Korea is born on the 31st of December, it is already legally 2 years old the next day. Therefore, it is best to ask for someone's birth year if you want to know their age. So we see that even though Korean language is the best one, it is not perfect. There is also high emphasis on the first syllable, so even though words like kimchi is written and sounds like K, in Hangul it's using the G. And some older Korean companies had their names romanized incorrectly because the standard for transliteration was not set. So the popular car brand Hyundai is actually supposed to be Hyundai. That's how you should say it. And Sejong did not like the characters F or V, so they do not exist in Hangul. So if you ever offend someone enough, you'll hear the classic Korean "fuck you." But speaking of swear words, Korea has probably the most interesting insult I have ever heard, which is "한강 물이 따뜻해," which just means the Han River is warm. But it implies that today is a good day to kill yourself because the water is not too cold, so you should jump off a bridge. Which is exactly what the main character in Castaway on the Moon does. I really recommend this movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it now, because this video is about to end. Thank you for watching my video. I flew to Korea last month just to research Korean and provide you a detailed and entertaining video. And all of the video footage in the background is personally recorded by me. So please share this video with your Korean friend and see you in the next one.